5-star meal, but allow us to continue as you also enjoy that. Are we in agreement? Is that okay? Everyone of that opinion say aye. Aye. The ayes have it. Today we have a wonderful set of innovators, young Kenyans who will make very dynamic presentations for you. And they will be asking a simple question. Support us. Put an investment into this idea. And you know what? They will give you a return. I think Dr. Melba asked you to prepare your checkbooks, correct? Yes. But we also do M-Pesa. We also do credit cards and debit cards. And if you want, I know there are some banks that close at 8 p.m. and it's only 7. So we are ready to be as flexible as possible in order that we can support these young Kenyans. We have 3 teams that we will be presenting today. And as they finish up their main course there, just before they come to the stage, I want to give you the format of how Mining for I works. Is that okay? So just in case you missed it at the beginning, what is Mining for I? Mining for I is a platform that brings together people who are interested in the mining sector to listen to information, to interact, to invest in innovations. So the I's stand for those specific items. We're going to see new things in the industry. These new things need hard money to become realities. The great thing is that we also have prototypes to show you. It's not a story. We need to evaluate the innovations. And the way we do the evaluations is with the generous assistance of our Simbas. So you may all have watched Lion's Den on TV, I take it. So the format is somewhat similar. The innovators will come to the front here. They will present their innovation. The Simbas will evaluate them and also give them a score. So we have a marking sheet which the Simbas will fill. And once they fill that marking sheet at the end of the 3 presentations, we will tally the scores. So we will take the scores from Simba A, from Simba B, from Simba C, tally those scores, and then say, this is the winner. Now, I need to inform our Simbas, before I introduce them, that there is no appeal system. There is no Supreme Court. The decision is final. And Kenyans, you will all understand that. Now, who are these Simbas? We are very pleased to have 3 distinguished persons as our Simbas tonight. I would like to introduce the first Simba, Honorable Majala Mlagui, who, as you all know, is the Deputy Governor and the CEC for mining in Taita Taveta County. She is also the founder and CEO of Thamani Gems and a former executive member at the Kenya Chamber of Mines. Her Excellency is also an accredited jewelry professional from the Gemology Institute of America and holds a degree in software engineering from the University of Sheffield in the UK. She is a volunteer in numerous programs, including Mwatate Constituency Community Education Fund, Savo Minerals Organization, the TED Fellows, and the Acumen East Africa Fellows. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for our first Simba. Karibu sana, Honorable Mlagui. Now, on your chair, these chairs at the front here, you will find 3 marking schemes on a clipboard. And those 3 marking schemes are for the 3 innovators. And if you need a pen, just let me know and I will assist you with one. Right.
Say that again.
Is it rigged?
No, I must say, if you look at the form, that marking scheme is blank. Her Excellency is asking if we have already pre-filled it. No, it is, oh, the pen. No, it is not, nothing is rigged. This is going to be done the kosher way. Now, I would like to introduce our second Simba, Professor Bitange Ndemo, who is an associate professor of entrepreneurship at the University of Nairobi's Business School. He's also an ICT champion, and I think we all know this, and a newspaper columnist with the Daily Nation and Business Daily. He is the former permanent secretary of the Ministry of Information and Communication, where he earned the prestigious Presidential Chief of the Burning Spear of Kenya Award. Professor Ndemo holds a PhD in Industrial Economics from the University of Sheffield in the UK. So there's an alumni thing going on here, which is great. Now, you may all know that Professor also was recently appointed as the chairman in regards to what we should do in Kenya in terms of Bitcoin and the blockchain, I should say, the blockchain technologies, I beg your pardon. And it's very exciting to have you here, Professor, because you have been involved in the mining foray before. You have been a Simba before, so you've seen the journey that we've taken, and it is a delight to have you here. We know you are a keen supporter of the youth, and the youth will be presenting today. Let's give a warm round of applause for Professor Ndemo. Your marking scheme is there. The pen is here, just in case. Karibu sana. Then, thirdly, and for sure not least, we have an international evaluator of the innovations that we're going to present today. We would like to welcome Anthony Paul. He is an energy and strategy advisor and a local content expert. For those of you who were at the sessions yesterday and today here, arranged by the Extractives Baraza, you will be familiar with him. He has over 35 years working experience in petroleum and mining, and he has held technical, commercial, managerial, and leadership roles, spanning the entire exploration and production value chain. He has a vast experience in this sector. He's a member of the board of directors for the Natural Resource Governance Institute and the managing director and principal consultant at the Association of Caribbean Energy Specialists. Anthony Paul holds a master's degree in exploration geophysics from the University of Houston in the USA. Welcome, a warm round of applause for Anthony Paul. You will find your marking scheme there. You need a pen?
I have a pen.
I see you're all set.
Mine is already marked.
Okay. So welcome to our Simbas. We will do this in a very relaxed manner. The people who are going to present their innovations, and please understand this, Your Excellency, please understand this. It's the first time that they go in front of a governor, it's the first time they go in front of a professor, it's the first time they go in front of an industry expert. But we are not saying that you mark them in a different way. Challenge them. However, let's give them an opportunity. Is that okay? We will also give the opportunity to the floor after each presenter finishes and the Simba asks questions to ask one or two questions from yourselves in the audience. So feel free to think of a question. We'll be cognizant of time, but you will have an opportunity also to engage. We will have a check ready for the winning innovator. So this is real business. We had someone talk earlier today and said, what are we doing here today? Is this a talk shop? You recall something like that? But Anthony Paul, you were here earlier. And we said, okay, let us put money on the table. And tonight we have a prize money available for the winner. So without further ado, I wish to invite the first team of innovators. Please come to the front, Matthew and Dadson. And as you come to the front, I will describe what your innovation is about, but very briefly, because you should do the heavy lifting. So this young gentleman, Matthew and Dadson, want to improve ore grinding. Ore grinding. So what is ore? Ore is that valuable piece of material, rock, that you can crush, that you can grind. And in this case, they're looking specifically at artisanal and small-scale miners. How can we improve the method at which they grind the rock that has the valuable mineral? The wonderful thing about Dadson and Matthew is they're not just talking. They have a prototype. It's right here behind me. We'll move this podium in a minute, and they will demonstrate to us that this prototype is actually working. It has massive benefits for artisanal and small-scale miners. And, Honorable Majala, we want this bought tonight. This machine is going to a certain county. I won't say yours just yet. Tonight. But they need to convince you why. And then we need to see whether we can give them some more investment to produce similar machines. And would you agree they don't need just to sell it in Kenya, right? Yes, they need to take this global. So, ladies and gentlemen, a warm round of applause for Dadson and Matthew. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dadson Mwangi.
And I'm Matthew Leto. We are from JKUAT.
Here today, we welcome you to the world of mining, but to be specific, the world of mineral processing, which has been lacking in our country. Our project is improvement of ore grading by artisanal and small-scale gold miners. What do you understand by mineral processing? Have you ever thought about mineral processing? We all talk a lot about mining, but no value addition in mineral processing. And according to this year theme, enhancing mineral by mineral value addition. But how do you add value? By providing with technology, which you have been lacking. Now our technology is to improve the ore grading by artisanal and small-scale miners. Now a bore mill is a machine that is used to reduce the rock into powder form, like a cement. Have you ever ordered a machine that is used to grind rock to cement form? Now today I'm going to explain you which machine is that and how it works. A bore mill is the last machine that is used in ore grinding. When you grade the ore, you use the surface area for mineral liberation, or for other use like in cement. But for some small-scale mining, since 1960s, when it is documented as some small-scale gold mining started, we have been using rudimentary equipment for mineral processing, but since then, no one has ever thought of improving the grinding for artisanal small-scale gold miners. And when you talk about artisanal small-scale gold miners, Her Excellency can testify it has been the largest market for gold production in Kenya. And we are not talking about 100,000 of them, which are available locally. I know she was an expert advisor in understanding the economic contribution of artisanal and small-scale gold mining. Artisanal and small-scale mining in Kenya, right? So she understands what I'm talking about. The market is so big. Now a bore mill, this is what we mine, just a rock. But this is not good enough for us. We need to improve it. Now a bore mill we use to reduce the size to powder form. Now when a small-scale miner reduces to powder form, he increases the surface area for mining. Actually, they use mercury for mineral processing. And I know in Kenya we have been thinking of eliminating use of mercury in mineral processing. But it would be very good for us to eliminate use of mercury and its disadvantage. Then our miners start developing other complications out of dust and other complications because of the equipment that you are using. Now we want to eradicate that. The government has done its part by providing them with a new mining act. It legalizes and formalizes the sector. But what about technology? What they need most? Now we are here to provide you the technology. This is an artisanal miner using the ball mill. Maybe you can play a video. Just look at that artisanal miner. Look at the equipment that he's using. You can see how he's prone to injury and other thing. Look at the amount of dust is being liberated by that equipment. Not talk about noise, which go up to over 110 decibels and above. Now, even if you are mining, you also need your life. You don't need to develop other complications. But since 1960s, we have never thought of improving that. And by that, we'll be talking of helping over hundreds of thousands of them. Now we are going to provide you the 21st century technology for mineral processing by external small-scale gold miners. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you with a prototype in mining and mineral processing. Just look at it. Let's talk about safety, which is more important in everything, wherever you are doing it. Now, about safety, we have improved. Every rotating part has been covered by a safety guard. So, if the miner is operating this equipment, he is more safer. Let's talk about the durability of the equipment. You can see at the frame, which is leveled. It indicates the durability of the pillow block bearings that are inside, hence reducing the downtime and maintenance time, and thus reduce the cost of production and maintenance for this machine. Another thing about durability, we have incorporated a liner, a rubber lining inside. The rubber lining has two functionality. One is to increase the durability of the drum, which when it wears out, you just replace it with another one. For them, if the drum wears out, they just throw it away, and you are throwing money away. And in mining, we all talk about money, not anything else. The other thing is to reduce the amount of noise related to the machine. An operator is operating with over 110 decibels. He is risking his ear, and he also needs them. Now with this, we have reduced the amount of noise generated by this machine. The other thing is, we are going to provide them with a range of machines, either engine operated or motor driven. So if you are not to have electricity, you are going to use a motor. If you are not in an area that has electricity, we are going to use a generator. The other thing is our modified control panel. In this control panel, we have a list of apparatus inside, like a VFD, variable frequency drive. We have the contactor and a timer. It can work like a novel. I can just set my optimal time for grinding, leave the machine to operate. Then when it is over, just switch off. About the emergency, we have the emergency switch. In case of anything, to just switch off. So that is thing to do with the operation. The other thing which is more important, efficiency of the machine. What they use is a hexagonal drum. This one is around incorporated with the lifters inside. Lifter help to increase the efficiency of the machine. And when you are talking about efficiency, when you tell a small artisanal skill miners about efficiency, we all love it because he know he's going to get more gold. And that is what he needs. He needs money with less cost of production. Now, what is our target market? You can see where artisanal and small scale gold mining is being carried out. Look at Migori. These are our estimated demand for 2018-2019. With this demand, I think what we can provide them, not technology that is available, but now we are giving them some technology to improve what they do. In Migori, there is a lot of artisanal and small scale gold mining. And this equipment can not only be used in artisanal and small scale gold mining, can be used for other applications. Like in the laboratories, we need a pulverizer. This is one of them. In the higher institution, we need to carry more and more research in mineral processing. This is one of the areas that require more research to know how we can improve in our upgradability, optimal time for mineral processing. We all need that. So with this kind of equipment in the higher institution, they can be able to vary a lot of things and help us optimize on this equipment, because right now it is not optimal, but we hope to keep improving it as we go on. You know, even when you go like being like a phone. We started like with a Mulika Muzi, but right now, where are we? In the Android or iOS, but we started somewhere. We are starting somewhere where we are. But I know in future we'll be somewhere. Maybe we'll be the supplier of ball mills in East Africa and Africa at large. Because right now the technology that we are using by the artisanal small scale gold miners, we got it from Tanzania since 1960s. Why can't you give them like something improved, which is we have right here. So the areas I talked about gold mining can be used in iron mining. Let's go to where iron is, even at Taveta. High Excellency, you can start artisanal small scale iron processors. You have the technology right now. So the estimated demand 2018-2019 is 255 ball mills, which are not available, which can be able to address the issues that have been facing. Now, this will be our team structure. If you get to take this thing to the market, which you have not done, this will be our team structure, where you're going to have the administration, workshop and production, sales and marketing. To continue, let's talk now about money. When we want to get this thing to the market, it was made last year, but up to now, I think only people from Gore and Kakamega know it exists. So we want to get them and want to provide them with the best. Now the money we are looking for is the money for setting up an office and a workshop facility. You know, in Kenya, seniors believe you, and you have to tell something. Somebody who has something, you have to tell him or her where to get you. Now that we want to provide, we want to get one of that. The other thing we want to equip it is some basic workshop equipment, which is going to cost around 3,200,000 Kenya shilling. We also need our working capital, so that we can be able to work. If we get an order, we can be able to deliver it. The other thing is we are going to need money for administration. This cost estimation is just 1 year. After 1 year, I know we have gotten somewhere. We will be in the market. The other money that we are looking for is for licensing and permits. You know, in Kenya, when you want to operate, you have to operate legally, so that you don't have other issues with the government. You know, the total money that we are looking for is 6,850,000 Kenya shilling. And if you invest this money, how are you going to get your money back? Now let's talk about profits. The cost of production of one ball mill, it will be 300,000 Kenya shilling, and our selling price will be 400,000 Kenya shilling. That's making a profit of 100,000 Kenya shilling. If you get, I told you that the estimated demand for this ball mill 2018-2019 is 255. If you get just for the start 20% of that market, we are talking about 50 ball mills, which will cost around 15 million to produce, and we sell it at 20 million. Hence making a profit of 5 million. But we can be able to reduce the cost of production if you can get our own workshop, our own working area. And if you have our own working area, we will be able to perfect on what we do. So if you get our workshop, the cost of production will be reduced by 18%, hence making 18% more profit. Our offer to the investor who is interested, I can see a lot of them here, is if you get these finances, we are going to give that percent equity in the production. So you can see the amount of money that we are talking about in the next 1 year. It is a lot. So for acknowledgement, we want to acknowledge JICA and Jomo Kenyatta University of Technology and Agriculture and Technology for funding us to reach at this point we are. We have 2 models, we have another bigger than this. They have funded us to research about it up to this point. And ladies and gentlemen, and I think this can be us taking the equipment to the customers, ready for assembly and commissioning. Thank you.
Thank you. Professor,
Yes, sir.
please go ahead, ask them some questions.
I would ask 2 questions.
Okay.
You said it's going to cost 300,000,
Yeah.
and you sell it for
400,000.
400, a margin of?
100,000.
A margin, 18, what percentage is that? The percentage margin?
Is about 25%.
25. Then the other is after 255, so what?
That is the cost demand for just 2018-2019. After the formalization and the legalization of the artisan and small scale mining in Kenya, the demand will grow.
And 30% equity will be 6.8.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a few technical questions.
Okay.
What is the amount of time that the ball mill machine can run?
It depends with the type of that ball that you are using. We have tried to do some tests and do some analysis. It was coming about 40 minutes per round.
40 minutes per
Yeah,
round?
yeah.
Okay. Have you been specifically researching on processing of gold ore?
Processing of?
Have you looked at other minerals?
Yeah.
I know you mentioned iron ore.
Yeah.
With any other minerals?
In the other model that I have been testing it on site. I've been grading copper ore, iron ore, and recently I ground limestone. Yeah.
Fantastic. Last question is, what is the plan for maintenance for the artisanal miners once they've bought your machine?
We are going to provide them with 1 year warranty. We will be servicing them, training them on how to use and service the machine. Maybe if the rubber lining inside has weared it or the lifter has gone off, we are going to train them on the technical of the machine, on how to repair and maintain the machine.
To add on that, we also have machine specifications, some manuals for them to use, so we're preparing for that.
How many times can you do per day from this machine?
The one that you have, the big one, and this can grade 100 kg per hour. So if you work for 10 hours, you get to grade like 1 ton.
This is not the equipment you are selling.
Yeah. These are small, as we have a range of models, depending on the capacity that you require.
So there is a bigger model to this. This is the smaller model.
Which one is it? 300,000?
The bigger.
The bigger.
And just to explain, the bigger one could not come into the Intercontinental Hotel. The lift cannot take it.
Okay.
That's the reason I couldn't bring it.
The cost will depend with the capacity that you require.
So we have a range of
Yes.
costs.
This one is 250. The price go up because it has a VFD, which is more expensive. The other one has a soft starter. Yeah. That is for water protection.
There should be no hesitation when Her Excellency asks how much. You say 250 and you go there for the check.
Tell me about your field testing. What challenges did you see in the field while you were testing?
Before this model came to this point, it looked otherwise. Maybe if we have the road today, we could never accept it. But we have been improving it. For the first time that we are testing, the first issue was transmission. So we improved it. We kept direct, so the problem was solved. The other thing was the motor protection. It was just a online starter, which improved by making this custom-made control box, which protects the motor. I think that right now I'm not facing any other challenge.
Let's take a couple of questions from Mr. Paul. Maybe you could start with your impressions. What is your impression about this? And then a couple of questions.
I like the practicality of it. That really strikes me. It's something that looks readily fielded, and it looks as if it's something that a miner can use. What I'm looking for is how robust it is in the field. You know, that's why I asked about the field testing. And how easy is this to maintain? You said you have manuals and you have the ability to change liners and those things. How long does it can it run before it needs servicing?
For the first 6 months, the liner should be replaced. But in the ordinary cases, in the first 1 year they replace the drum. So the liner will be replaced after 6 months, and then the bearing life, the bearings will go all the way because we have worked on the vibrations. They will go all the way to the determined life as a manufacturer. So we don't expect a catastrophic failure. And then when it comes to the motor, We have protection for the motor in case you're using the motor, so we don't expect the motor to fail in case of our problems. We have taken care of that.
To make it more interesting, the equipment is still under more research. Like he is working on the vibrations right now to improve it for future. We want every time that we produce a new equipment to be an improved version of the older version.
Should it be spring mounted in some way, on some kind of shocks, a vibration system, or should it be rigid?
We will install some rubber when you're mounting it down there. Yes. So it is part of the design, so but we have not already put some of them here. But we have provision for that.
And a quick one on the financials. Have you factored in failure rates in your machines in terms of the number you're selling and your revenue? Do you expect 100% to work every time?
Come again.
Oh, yes, I will answer. There's a failure rate, but to be honest, we have not yet done that. We have not factored the failure rates, but we will work on that when it comes to large scale production. For example, when we scale up to 50, we'll put that as a factor in the selling.
Yes, if I told you that your margins cannot sustain you because of the many variables, like you import the raw material, the dollar fluctuates, that 25% is not sufficient to keep you alive. What do you say?
About the raw material, this machine is made of about 80% locally available material. Because this is mild steel. Mild steel is a locally available material. We are not importing anything apart from maybe the motor only. And about the motor, most of the artisanal small scale miners don't use the motor, they use at the engine. Because in the area.
I'm telling you this from theory that a margin of below 20%, the volume must be very high for you to be sustainable. Did you lower your margins because you wanted to be attractive price, or
here is that this is locally manufactured. There is imported components, yes, but with the progressive production of this equipment, they will localize as much as possible to reduce the importation percentage and to increase that national content where it's available. There's components of it which they would still need to import. But we take Professor your concern and comment on profitability. We know that this is a very price sensitive market, the artisanal and small scale. So there's a limit to what extent we can charge. The core of it, Honorable Majala, the core of it, do we have something here that you can say this is working?
I think you definitely have something that is working, something that is viable for the industry. I share Professor's sentiments of the profit margin, because we're here to make money, not charity.
Yes.
So if it was to go to 70, 80, 200% as your profit margin, then we'll be writing the check.
Okay.
You know, what I would suggest, and maybe before I make my suggestions, ask one question. What is the size, or rather, can you vary the size of output from the machine? Can I stop it at certain millimeters of, for example, the iron ore production, not necessarily the powder, but get it to certain sizes, 30 ml, 60 mm?
About that one, we are going to vary some parameters inside. Maybe the grinding time or the amount of input that you get into the machine. Okay. That one is going to give you the output that you require.
So that then leads to my suggestion. I think you have a wider market than the gold industry. I think you, to even start addressing some of Professor's sentiments, you need to look at the gemstone industry, which looks at the value addition of gemstones with slightly smaller milling machines than this, and there you can look at longer running times as well. You need to look at whether you can vary your sizes of production so that you can sell to more people who don't want just a powder as the output. Your pricing may require further analysis, because yes, the artisanal miners are very sensitive on how they will pay and what they will pay. But I think you have a very good product on your hands.
About the price,
Great.
the model that you have, it costs around 300,000 Kenya shilling, and you sold it. So what you are providing them is improved model at the in their price that can be able to buy it.
It is not what you think they will pay, but the value proposition you provide.
Excellent
If it is
comment.
compelling, then because you are a monopoly, you should make the call and have the premium price. Because if you get a very thin margin, and then Taita University replicates this, they will shut you out from that market.
Thank you, Professor. Let's get one question from the audience. One question. Yes, sir, please. Could we assist him with a microphone, please? The gentleman in the red tie.
Thank you very much. As you're talking about the financial, I think 300,000 to make this product is $30,000, and you're selling it for $4,000.
$3,000.
300,000 shillings.
Yes.
How much dollars is that? $3,000. And you're selling for $4,000. So, do you think about competitors, not in Kenya but in China or India or any Southeast Asia? For example, I can buy this half the price, plus I can get someone to come to Kenya and make the equipment. Have you thought about that? Or
Yes, we have thought about that, and we did a market survey on the available products. For example, for small-scale miners, we have seen the price and the costing from different countries. Some of them are really competing, but in most of the cases, we are on top. And our strength is the proximity we have to those guys, and we can always offer support to them.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. I know there's tons of questions. I know there's burning questions, but just for the sake of time, I think we've given a minute or so for you to do your marking scheme for this gentleman. We will allow them to come and sit next to you. Is that okay? So, Gadson, Matthew, you will sit next to this gentleman, answer their questions, and then also interact with the rest of the crowd. Let us give a warm round of applause to Matthew and Gadson. Asanteni sana.
They feel like becoming mineral processors.
They do, certainly. Thank you, sir. All right, we would like to bring in the next presenter. And we would like to have here Samuel and Zacchaeus. Please come to the front here, and as they come, I will describe very briefly what these two innovators want to discuss with us here. They are going to manufacture plastic core boxes from recycled plastics here in Kenya to serve the region, the African continent, and the world. So for those of you wondering, what is a plastic core box? You will be informed, and we all know what recycled plastics are, and they are a menace. Ladies and gentlemen, another warm round of applause for Samuel and Zacchaeus. Karibuni sana.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
We are happy to have you here today, and welcome to our presentation.
In front of you are two fourth-year mining engineering students from the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. And we are also a pair of innovators who have realized a grave problem in the society, one that affects not only the immediate environment that we live in, but also the mining environment. And still at that, we have come up with a simple but credible solution that ensures a win-win situation for both the instances. Ladies and gentlemen, we have decided to use plastics that are a menace to the society to come up with a product that is very essential in mining. Welcome to NeuroPlus Cobox Solutions, and we hope you'll enjoy the presentation.
My name is Zacchaeus Okoth.
And I'm Samuel Kaguni.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will start by trying to jog around with your mind a bit. If you think something about a chair or maybe a glass or maybe even a car, then a clear and distinct image of those objects would pop into your mind and you automatically know what I'm talking about. But when I talk about something like a core box, what image do you see? Maybe a box, right? But of what nature? It could be a matchbox, or it could be even a box used to transport sweet tomatoes from the farm to the market, right? So in order to understand clearly what these core boxes are, allow us to share with you a very short video that would help you understand and appreciate why we need these core boxes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we borrowed a short video from Atlas Copco, and this whole process begins in a process called core drilling. So, a drilling rig propels a metal piece downwards into the surface of the earth and extracts cylindrical columns of rock that are called core samples. These drilling rods are attached to ring-shaped cutters, which are made of either diamond or tungsten, some of the hardest materials on earth. And then it is advanced clockwise into the ground and cuts the cylindrical column of rock as seen from the video. Now, these pieces of rock are usually placed in some very smart group boxes very carefully, because paramount importance is of the integrity of the cores. You want to take these cores to the lab at the very stage that you extracted them from the ground to do the analysis. Now, this group box, I bet you cannot guess what it's called. A core box. Yes. So you might ask yourself, what are these core samples for? When you hear an engineer or a geologist say, we have struck gold in Western Kenya, we have struck oil in Chalo, these people usually have to go, drill, take these samples to the lab, analyze them, and tell you exactly the component or the percentage of gold that they have acquired, or the amount of petroleum. Not only in the mining industry or in the oil and petroleum industry, but also in the civil engineering and construction works. Before these mega structures are built, they have to drill and see the qualities, the properties of maybe the rocks or the soil, how strong is it. Before they build the roads, they have to do this. So these core samples are very important and necessary, and also the core boxes are of paramount importance.
Ladies and gentlemen, why are we interested in core box, not any other product? Please. Some of the reasons that makes us interested in this product are the following. Imagine in the whole region of Kenya, if not East Africa, we don't have any established company or an individual carrying out the production of these boxes commercially. So it leaves our drilling contractors with a very difficult task in order to obtain these particular core boxes. In the process, a lot of time is wastage. Imagine if you are a drilling contractor today and you got a contract today. Then you have to start thinking about assembling these boxes. Number two, we have a problem of deforestation. Majority of the core boxes that are used by most of the contractors, drilling contractors especially, operating within the country, are made from wood. And since the maximum number of times that wooden boxes can be used by these people are only 3 times, therefore need for more wooden boxes. Therefore, they will be going back to the forest. But then look at this. Look at it this way. Who knows the current percentage of forest cover in the country? It's around 7%. But then the county is launching an ambitious plan to make sure that by 2022 we have a percentage of 15%. If we were to continue doing the production of the wooden core boxes, don't you think this is a drawback? But again, if you shift your view again and look at it this way, currently we have a ban in the cutting down, logging of wood within the whole county, all the forest within the county. Therefore, you can only imagine what kind of problem our contractors are going through in order to obtain these particular boxes. The prices have actually risen. So that is problem number 2. Number 3, we have a problem of plastic pollution. It has actually become a nightmare, and we know that plastics waste are actually non-biodegradable. So therefore, it implies that a huge solid waste are actually being deposited in our drainage systems, rivers, and thereby sometimes even if you watch through the news, you watch helplessly. You see a lot of flooding taking place everywhere. But then, that should not continue. You realize that sometimes a source of problem can be a source of salvation. And we saw this carefully, that this plastic waste can actually be used to make something of useful in mining.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to introduce you to the very first ever made plastic core box from recycled plastics. This is a core box, and you can see some marks here. We intentionally scratched this to show you that it's actually plastic. It's just paint coated. So this plastic core box is actually of superior quality than the wooden core box. This can be used for a minimum of about 5 times. It comes in a cheaper price than the wooden core box, and definitely handles the core better. You can imagine if you're a geologist and this drilling contractor brings you some core samples in such a core box. You'll even maybe work harder, will work better to see that the core samples integrity is maintained. So we are so much interested in taking the plastics away from the society, eradicating the menace that we have, and turning it to a very useful material, or as the people say, from garbage to gold.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now let us share with you the product market we have for this particular product. That product, as I had mentioned before, is going to be the first to be manufactured in the whole of Africa, if I'm not wrong, because it is made purely from recycled plastic. And imagine, most of the drilling contractors that we are targeting operate not only within the country, but also within the wide region of East Africa. So we are actually sure that once they start using this product, then it will be spreading out very fast. Yes, like maybe wildfire, right? In a dry grassland, yes. So you expect that. Number 2, we have mining companies, especially the underground mining companies. It reaches a time whereby the mineralization actually disappears when you are mining underground. And most of the engineers who are actually involved in this field will agree with me. Therefore, it looks like superstitious, so you really need to know which direction should you move to. So, we are saying that mining companies also use them. Apart from mining companies, we also use the civil engineering institutions. As if you go to Madini House, again, you will find them using these boxes. And we can reach them through various ways. We have the forums like Mining Forum, which brought about 400 investors. We can reach them through that method.
And now to the part that most of you are here for, the financials. So what we are asking from you is only a capital investment of about 4 million shillings. Now, we intend, our ultimate target is to sell 1,500 core boxes per month. Now, the current price for a wooden core box ranges between 2,000 shillings and 2,500 shillings. Whether you're buying it or you're making it locally from the wood, the prices will range from in between there. So we have decided, okay, we are producing a superior quality, but then we want to make it pocket friendly. Yeah? So we decided to sell it at 1,700 shillings each, and the total sales amount up to 2.5 million. The expenses in production and maybe transporting the core boxes to the clients amount up to around 1 million shillings, and the monthly profit we'll acquire from this is around 1.5 million shillings per month as per the targets. We are willing to give an equity of 40% to whoever may want to join us.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what more you may be willing for, because at 40% already you are taking almost half of our investment. So we ask you that you come and join us. And we were really interested to present this idea to you, because we know that you are not just going to sit down and maybe bury your head in the sand. You know what I think? You are going to stand up, join us, and make this amazing transformation a reality. Thank you.
He's done an excellent presentation. Yes, give them another round of applause, please. Right, Anthony Paul, your thoughts on that, please.
So help me understand how this compares to the wood boxes in terms of handling, in terms of the strength properties, and it stand falls like a wood box. Have you done the testing on that? And what about the size and the weight? How do they compare to standard storage racks and standard boxes? Will they work in the normal existing storage system facilities?
Okay, in terms of comparison with the wood boxes are normally very fragile, so they can easily break. They cannot be stored in damp places. They'll soak water and then maybe rot. They occasionally attract insects, which will rot, and none of these qualities is found in the plastic core box. Second question was,
have you done any testing to the strength in different direction? In terms of if it falls, it might be
okay.
Crack.
The strength is a function of the size, the width of the core box. Yeah. So we know that the drilling contractors usually have different sizes of core samples. So depending on the width, the thickness of the core box can be varied to meet the strength requirements.
Have you done lab testing on it?
No, we've done calculations based on the basic density of the rocks and the quality, the strength quality we require and the dimensions.
Of the plastics?
Yes.
I didn't see in your cost estimations the raw material cost.
Yeah. Okay. What we have done is we decided to start a pilot program. We decided there are already players in the industry who are doing plastic recycling. So the reason we're asking for the capital requirement is only to buy the molds. To make this plastic core box, two components are required: an injection molding machine and a mold. So there are already many people doing production of recycled plastic equipment or products. So what we're just doing is bringing them a mold and telling them, hey, we're coming with a mold. We'd like you to produce this for us and tell us how much it costs. So we have eliminated like almost all production factors. We're not paying any power or rent, or we're just paying for the commodity.
Thank you. Honorable Manjala, you had a question?
I'm still not very clear on that aspect of the molds, because you put in a capital investment amount of 4 million. This is presumed to be a one-off amount. It's a capital investment amount, right? So that needs to be clarified on your financials, because that would mean that your profits would either go higher, seeing as you're not spending 4 million every single month, and you're projecting that you'll be selling 1,500 boxes a month. So that needs a bit more clarity.
The calculations on the profit are not based on the capital requirement. We base them on the total sales.
Okay.
Let's show that slide again, just to get some clarity. If you go back to that slide.
Yes, it's a function of the sales. Yeah, not the capital investment.
Okay, fantastic. Now, for any plastic product that's using recycled plastic, I would also hope that it can be reused quite a number of times, more than 5 times.
Yeah.
So do you expect the 1,500 boxes to be sold every month if this is something that is reusable quite a number of times?
I can say in that question, since the number of boxes that are actually currently being used are made from wood, then for now, if the program was to begin, then it implies that this number of boxes will be demanded, because majority of the most of the contractors still will be using wood. But if this were to be used, then it means for the start that would be possible. And again, we actually took data from 3 companies. Actually, the 1,500 boxes is really minimum. It's like the worst case.
And just to really drive to the answer, indeed, because it can be reused, the opportunity for replacement is lower. So the real market is replacing all the wooden boxes, growing regionally and internationally, and then looking at the opportunities across all the sectors of mining, or all the minerals in mining, exploration, and then also petroleum, and then also water well drilling. There is a huge opportunity in water well drilling for this kind of boxes. So to answer your question, they need to grow their market in terms of not just Kenya, but internationally, and not just mining, but across the extractives.
What is the total addressable market in Kenya?
How many boxes can you sell?
We did the calculations based on only acquiring 3 companies only. That is 1 large-scale company and 2 small-scale companies. So that is a pessimistic view of about.
But you know, you are convincing us to give you money.
Yes.
You could tell us who the market is and roughly how much, so that we estimate the total addressable market.
Currently, sir, we have made engagement with most of these contractors, though we were not able to get appointment with some of them. But there are more than 3 contractors carrying out this job. But then, if we were to get these particular contractors, there are so many of them, but these contractors, they operate in mines, maybe in construction works, they operate in so many places. The market is actually one.
Do you have 1 customer?
Currently?
Yeah, 1.
A promising one.
DPI.
A promising one.
No.
We have a promising one.
Nobody has said this one I'll buy.
You see, we can't go and sell something that you have not yet produced, and then the prototype is a bit thick, so they'd want something a bit thinner, which is a function of the mold.
In business,
yes,
you don't say that. I'll be totally scared if nobody has said I'll buy this, because the first thing you do is you get just one customer, and then we describe that customer. What is in your total cost component in terms of expenses? What are you addressing?
Actually, what we are addressing here are the raw materials. Only the raw materials and the transport.
The production, and you don't want to be paid yourself.
Of course, that's the reason why.
Part of the profit incorporates our salary.
Yeah?
Part of the profit incorporates.
No, accounting is not done like that.
and indeed, these gentlemen want to be paid. I think they were quite liberal in terms of production and transport, and if I could stretch, they are part of the production crew. So actually their earnings, those expenses you see there, incorporates these gentlemen working on a day-to-day basis.
And
forgive me, Professor, I'm stretching here.
The office space.
The marketing expenses, the overheads, certainly
they are all production.
They would knock off. I could even call that profit a gross profit, so that in between the gross profit and the net profit, yes, there would be some expenses that are not enumerated there.
Which means your margins are not correct.
The margins are, as far as we are concerned, such that we only consider the raw materials. After the raw materials, the transportation cost. After the transportation cost, then also what we'll be using during all this process. So the profit that you are seeing there is the gross profit.
Anthony Paul, you had one question before we take it to the crowd.
Well, I wanted to know about molds. How many molds are you going to buy, and how long does it take to make one of these boxes? How many boxes do you make from a single mold per month?
Okay, so as I told you, these cost samples usually vary in size. So we say that we actually start off with 2 of the most common cost samples. That is, we acquire 2 molds for the core box and 1 mold for the lid. The injection molding machine makes 1 core box at approximately 2 minutes.
Yeah.
2 minutes, roughly 2 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, great stuff. We will take a couple of questions. I see let me start with this gentleman, because I kind of passed him, and then I'll come back to you, Evans, okay? Please, if we could give him a mic. Please tell us your name again, where you're from, and your question.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Dennis Achoki. I'm a geologist at Akish Mining. So we get to use these core trays. We call them core trays in the industry. We get to use them a lot, and we use between plastic and metal core trays. One thing I would like to add to your innovation will be that core trays rarely get reused. So it's not like you can say, I love lower margins because they get reused. Because if you're a mining company, you want to store your core for further studies, and if you get good assays, you want to come back to that core. So core does not get disposed of so that you can reuse the core tray. So trays don't get reused. Also, the tray that you have produced, you have to consider the meterage, because if you are leading a mining company and you want to buy core trays, that tray can only like 3 meters. And if you're going to do like a drilling program of like 2,000 meters, you don't want one tray to hold 3 meters. You want one tray to hold between 6 and 7 meters so that you can reduce on the number of trays you buy. And also, your tray, they have to be compatible, because the way core is stored, they are stuck together. So the model you have, I don't think you can stack like 12 trays on top of each other the way it is. So you have to consider that.
Okay, this is just a prototype,
okay,
which is smaller and not a definite design.
Okay.
So the total meterage is supposed to be 1 meter.
There was a core tray. How many meters should a full
okay, according to our specification, we are going to work with about 4 or 4.5 meters.
You should look at 6 meters, 7 meters.
You see, that I wouldn't be a good business person if I did that. That means I would sell small pieces of core boxes.
No,
I will be making you glad, but then I'll be suffering.
No, you have to consider that you have competitors, and they are metallic core trays, which are a bit cheaper than that. And in Kisumu, actually, where we are based, you will find Juakali people making metallic core trays. So you have to consider that. Also, another final thing will be the way core trays are handled. Usually they are carried manually, so you have to make them in a way that they can be carried easily. So you have to consider that. But it's a very good innovation, and we currently don't have plastic core trays being produced in the country. So it's a very good innovation.
Thank you, sir. I think you all know that Acacia drilled the most amount of meterage exploration drilling in Kenya last year, if I could say that. That is a fact. It's thousands. I think it was just over 65,000 meters, plus minus. A lot. A lot, huh? A lot. So, Professor, that is a real customer talking. That is a real...
You never argue with a customer.
Evans, you have a question? Please give Evans the mic.
I don't have a question. I just want to make 2 points. First of all, Professor was asking about the market. The market is there. I worked in the exploration industry for 10 years, and I can tell you that the meters you mentioned that Acacia's doing is an underestimate. Last year, I think they did more than 65,000 meters, and every meter has to go to a core box. So you can start with Acacia, it's a huge market. That's number one. My second point to you is the exploration drilling, everything is standardized. Talking about the core sizes, talking about A size B and HP, talking about the length of the core barrels. Actually, most of the length in Africa is 1.5, 3 meters. Few companies are doing 6 meters. So my suggestion also to you is try to standardize your core boxes, like what my colleague was saying. Either 1.5, you can have some allowance, either 3 meters, some allowance, or 6 meters. And finally, in terms of identification of the market, if you need help, I sell exploration machine to all these customers. I know the contractors, I know the users. I can help you identify the market.
Thank you. Excellent. I see a marriage between Epiroc and this young man. Part of doing business is actually partnering with the right partners. I would like to acknowledge Engineer Jack Mboi, who is the Managing Director at Tata Chemicals, Magadi Soda as we all know it. And I see he has a question, so please, if we could give the microphone to Engineer. We'll just take one last question, sir. I know there's a question behind there. We'll reserve it for a little bit later. We'll come back to that. Betty, please, if you could assist Engineer.
Yeah, thank you very much. Mine is really just to expand your market a little bit more and give you an extra customer. As you know, in Magadi, we mine trona, and from trona we manufacture soda ash. And the trona is a natural process that forms and then gives us a raw material. So we have a big issue with sustainability, and therefore issues of environmental conservation. And that then resonates very much with what you're talking about plastics, because plastics and the environment don't go together, especially with disposal. Because we think long term. We think our trona will be there for hundreds of years to come. We think sustainability, we think about environmental pollution and conservation. So because of that reason, we would buy your product if it was competing among its others. But the real potential here is that as the trona forms, it forms in different qualities in different parts of our lake. Our lake is about 164 square kilometers. We would like to be able to do a 3D mapping of the entire lake and being able to drill cores at 50 meters apart. So we would need hundreds and hundreds of thousands of cores. We've already imported a lot of the drilling equipment. We have about 3 machines now. We plan to import a few more. And each one of these machines will have a 24-hour job, drilling cores. So I think the numbers I saw potentially on your sales figures are probably a small fraction of what we would buy from you.
Excellent, excellent. A round of applause for engineer. So I think it's clear that Samuel and Zacchaeus have at least, what, 3 customers already? And growing. I think the best investment you got today is actually sales, which is a great way to get started. For the sake of time, let's give this young man a warm round of applause. Thank you so much. And as they sit down, Anthony, Paul,
I want to
comment?
make one suggestion.
Yes.
I didn't hear you identify any uniqueness to the input and raw materials. So once you make a mold and start making this product, anybody can replicate it. I want to suggest you lock in the supply of plastics very early.
Fantastic. So secure your supplier to avoid fast competition.
Let them
to
go
that
to
space.
Stratmore. Then Stratmore can help them with the protection of their patents.
Excellent.
That's
Excellent.
perfectly fine. We also accept 10%. Find us. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again. Another warm round of applause. And I would suggest, Zacchaeus, Samuel, could you sit with that gentleman on the corner there, because I think this is a serious investor.
The question I wanted to ask is, has been addressed. The question around patenting.
Okay.
Because I could run tomorrow and just, the first thing to do is just patent it like
Great. Okay. I beg your pardon, sir, just for the sake of time, we are trying to move it forward. Asante sana. All right, the third and final presentation. And we always save something good for last. We have 2 young gentlemen, I'll call them to come up here and set up. Alvin and Desmond, if you could please come up here and get ready. These 2 young men have set up a major corporation called DESAL. DESAL Corporation, standing for Desmond and Alvin, of course. And this corporation is looking to manufacture, to produce locally gas detectors, and specifically hydrogen sulfide gas detectors. And I know you're all asking, what is hydrogen sulfide? Or at least a number of you are asking. So they will explain to you what hydrogen sulfide is, where it occurs in the extractives process, and why it is a lethal gas. It's a lethal gas. So they have a detector that will show us the little prototype they have here and all the wonderful things we need to know for us to invest in their corporation. So Alvin, Desmond, Karibuni sana. Let's give them another warm round of applause.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are here and we'd like to welcome you into our virtual reality company.
So as from this moment onwards, ladies and gentlemen, I know we are all sitting in the Intercontinental Hotel, but physically, mentally, I want you to picture that you're in the desert cop industry. And in our industry, we do love safety. And one of our safety measures is that we try to make everything digital, fast, very reliable. So I'd like to ask everyone to please take a few moments to please put your phone on before we continue.
Kindly have your phone on the table, please.
This is so because we had a sit down, and because we do love safety, one of you has been chosen to be our safety officer in this industry. So you might just be receiving that life-saving phone call. Failure to reach, all of us are dead by the end of this. So please, ladies and gentlemen, take that very seriously. Put your phones on.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, 1,000 years ago, my grandfather's grandfather would not have thought that Kenya would come to this point in time. But then transformative changes have taken place over and over generations, and we are here today, ladies and gentlemen, not only Kenya, but also Africa, moving into an interesting phase of life, which is mining, geothermal development. Generally, we are moving forward into a future that we have in our heads. But then as we take a journey, a step into this mining of coal, when we go into geothermal plants, oil and gas industries, we get what we want. But we not only get that, at times you get small doses of death without realizing, or at times we realize it, but we do take it as a matter of, Kenyans, we have that habit. We have that habit, thank you. We have that habit of saying, it's not something that is going to harm me. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we want to bring to your attention this deadly gas that is responsible for the highest number of gas deaths globally in workplaces. Ladies and gentlemen, this is hydrogen sulfide that we are talking about. And today, your presenters are going to be I, Alvin Norbert,
and Desmond Smith. So, ladies and gentlemen, the gas we're specifically diving into today is hydrogen sulfide. So someone might ask, what is hydrogen sulfide? Or how can I know I'm in an area whereby we have hydrogen sulfide? Let me just ask a random question. Who has ever been in a place whereby we have a rotten egg?
Anyone.
Thank you, ma'am. So that smell that the rotten egg produces is the same characteristic smell that is produced by the hydrogen sulfide gas. So in this case, it is produced in places like geothermal power plants, oil and gas mining, and also in coal mining.
Well, I've seen a good number of us have not had a taste of this gas, but we had actually thought about bringing a sample, but looking at all this, we would have run out of appetite for the next 1 week. Trust me. But if you want to have a feeling of this gas, feel free to contact us. We can actually organize a lab session for you to have 1 week of no appetite. So, ladies and gentlemen, looking at a research that was done by OECD steering group on 152 casualties that were reported, we had these numbers. 5 suffered from irritation from this gas, 10 had mild poisoning, 56 had moderate poisoning, 81 cases were severe. And out of this number, we lost 8 lives, ladies and gentlemen. Now you can picture this. One day, somebody woke up, prepared themselves, went to the workplace, and I can picture this. They kissed their little kids goodbye in the morning, and somebody was like, "Daddy, get me a sweet." And in the evening, they waited for sweets, and they're still waiting to date. It is a sad case, ladies and gentlemen. But today we want to bring you a solution.
So what are some of these health hazards that hydrogen sulfide poses? insomnia. Some of us might have natural insomnia, like myself. I rarely have sleep. But ladies and gentlemen, these workers, people who work in these areas, are subjected to unwanted insomnia. These guys rarely sleep. We also have loss of consciousness, which also comes with the effect of brain damage. Loss of eyesight after having eye problems for quite a while. We also have the effect of nausea. So ladies and gentlemen, picture if we brought that gas here today, then someone sitting next to you gets the courtesy to pick on you. That's very pathetic, ladies and gentlemen. And also, last but not least, to your final destination, death.
So we walked into these companies that we have in Kenya for reasons that are well known and reserved to the both of us and the partners in mention. We had these devices in use. This is one of the hydrogen sulfide detectors that we have in the industries. It is a picture that was taken by a mobile phone, so it is existing already. But as you can look at the condition it is in, ladies and gentlemen, we can actually see that it has worn out and it is not in any good condition to actually save somebody's life. So you can imagine somebody's in the industry with this machine. You can see it's there, but it is not doing that sole purpose it is meant for, saving your life. And we are also aware that in the market there is this gadget that is also portable. But then we want to make matters more interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2002 we had a breakthrough in technology. We had Nokia 3310. But if I'd like to ask any one of you in this room, kindly whip out a Nokia 3310 or a Motorola C113.
Except for me.
Oh, sorry. But most of us are using gadgets that are up to date. You're using iPhone 8. iPhone 10 is about to come out, or maybe has already come out. I'm not up to date, maybe. But then we want to make matters more interesting. We want to bring to you a locally made, available device that is iPhone 20 compared to Nokia 3310.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the revolutionary, first made in Africa, in Kenya, our hydrogen sulfide detector. Can someone just connect this?
We would like one volunteer from the audience, please. One volunteer, kindly.
Diana?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any volunteer.
Where is a rotten egg?
Oh, for today we're not going to use the principle. We're not going to use the rotten egg. We are going to use the principle of temperature detection for this illustration, which is one of the principles that this detector actually applies in the form of detection. So, where is our hot water?
We are going to use hot water, which is going to serve as our working plant. Remember, we are at Desal Corp Industries, and we are taking this journey into the plant. And remember, we have a safety marshal that is unknown to us. We are going to realize who is our safety marshal in a very few moments. So ladies and gentlemen, let us have our device get to work.
So I will just like you to come forward and confirm that this is actually hot water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just have a touch of.
I'll get close. Yes, it's hot.
It's hot.
Yes.
So in this case, you're going to use a DHT. And ladies and gentlemen, as I said, if your phone is off, kindly, people might die in this industry because of it. Please put your phone on.
So we are taking this journey into this company, and as we take a small chat in this company, as we show you around, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be exposed to numerous gases. That's why we have this device. Personally, I have no kids yet, and I pretty much know that my mom wants to be a grandma soon, so my life is depending on it. And just a few moments. So, kindly.
Yes.
We'd like you to read the display digit that is on our screen. Kindly read this.
What's the temperature as per now?
27 degrees Celsius.
27 degrees Celsius
27.
is the temperature that has been detected by our DHT.
So
coming from our
27
plant.
is going to be our magic number, ladies and gentlemen. Have that at the back of your head. What did I say again?
27.
Wait, did you say that 7?
27.
27. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is our magic number. Let's have it somewhere. You can jot it down using a pen.
And ladies and gentlemen, when our detector hits 30 degrees Celsius, someone shall receive that life-saving phone call for tonight.
Well, we can see at the front here we are already gender balanced because Kenya says we have a third gender rule. We have one female and means 2 gentlemen. So thank you very much for keeping to the Kenyan laws.
You're welcome.
Yeah, sure, you can have a seat. Thank you. And as we are taking this talk in this company, well, Kenya is moving forward. Well, I'm your tour guide. We are moving into this oil rig, into this virtual plant, and we can see we are moving closer to danger, and we are awaiting one thing, ladies and gentlemen, our lives to be saved. So wait, are we going to have Superman or Spider-Man?
In a few moments, one of you will be receiving a phone call. I would have used my phone, but the number is saved as danger, and I don't want anyone running out of this place. So that's why we decided to use another person's phone. Kindly, if you receive a phone call, stand up.
Yeah, anyone receiving a phone call right now?
Please stand up if you're receiving.
I think I'm not too sure.
Yes.
Can we confirm this phone receives very many numbers?
Sure, you can go ahead.
From 0732.
That's the number. Say no more.
So, ladies and gentlemen, worry not, you can smile, you can go back to your house safe and sound tonight. And who? Thank goodness my mom is going to be a grandma.
So let's go back to our slide, please.
And, sure, thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the standards which shall be met by this detector.
In the field of engineering, we talk about standards, and we pretty much talk about it everywhere. So we have researched in the market, and we have looked at the standards that have been set in place by ACGIH, that is American Conference and Governmental Industrial Hygienists, and Occupational Safety and Health Administration, to make sure that our device is going to be up to par with the set standards globally, because we don't want to make a market that is a product that is going to be only working in Kenya alone. We are looking at Africa, the whole world, and if there exist aliens, be sure that they're going to be using this device. So we are going to make our device to be very sensitive, up to 1 part per million, which is a very small amount that is not detectable by your nose. Ladies and gentlemen, let me give you an example. When you walk into an industry and you have 3 to 5 parts per million of this gas, your nose will detect it. But when you have 100 parts, your nose ceases to detect this gas and you don't become aware of it. And that is when you're being served by slow portions of death. And ladies and gentlemen, these are the advantages that this device is going to have over the devices that are already existing in the market.
The first of its kind to be made locally is the first ever to be made in Africa. So this is the pride of Africa, just like KQ, the pride of Africa.
And then there is already existing expertise, because as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, if I punch him, he's real. He's not artificial intelligence, robot, or hologram. So we are already existing as the expertise locally available. And this device is actually going to sell cheaper compared to the devices that are already existing in market.
And it's first in terms of detection. Ladies, Ladies and gentlemen, this device in terms of detection, because it uses 3 modules. For the portable, 2 modules. For the one that is installed in areas such as rigs, it will use 3 modules. Module number 1, electromagnetism. Module number 2, reversible reaction. And module number 3, temperature detection. Temperature detection comes in where? The higher the temperature, the more the hydrogen sulfide gas is produced. And also, finally, ladies and gentlemen, it can be used in any setting. It can be customized to your liking.
And this is the team that we have organized that will lead us all into the future. We are going to have our team leader, the financial management, the technical team, and the sales management. And ladies and gentlemen, for our revenue generations, we are talking about sales to companies where mining of coal is taking place. We are talking of geothermal plants. We are talking of oil and gas industries, and generally industries globally that are exposed to such conditions. And if you are in the industry already, you know that there is a requirement before you set up your industry for you to check for hydrogen sulfide and other gases that are naturally existing. So we have a very large potential market out there. And
the second part comes in hiring this device. There's some companies which come into the country just to explore, to see if they might find some of these minerals. They're also exposed to this gas. So it might be hired to these guys. And also to tourists. Take an example of the geothermal power plant or carrier. It's near Hell's Gate. We don't want our tourists to be served with small doses of this gas while they're there.
And we're also talking of revenue in terms of installation, because for this device we are going to have customizable sizes, because we have local expertise, that is, so we can customize it to the requirement of the company at the ground already. So for installation, we are going to have revenue from that. And we are also taking in the factor of maintenance and monitoring of this equipment, because as we had seen the previous slide, it is broken down and we have a challenge. The expertise is from outside Kenya, outside Africa. It is costly and very not much effective, if I can say. It's not effective and very costly. And this is our production cost per gadget. On looking at the higher side, we are going to produce a single gadget for 6,500 shillings, and we are talking of a selling cost of 12,000 Kenyan shillings. This is $120 compared to the one that are existing in the market, which go for around $140, which is 14,000 Kenya shillings without the shipping fees. And for this large-scale financial plan, we are looking at the first year. These are pessimistic values, of course. First year sales of 100 gadgets, but let me mention this as a honorable mention that we already have a company that is interested, that has already pledged to give us a test run of 200 gadgets when we start production. So ladies and gentlemen, the 550,000 shillings profit for the first year is going to be double. And we are coming to you asking for 2 million Kenya shillings with a payback of 3 years with 30% interest. But we are well aware that most of us might want to stay with the company longer. We are talking of 10% stake in the company. And ladies and gentlemen, these figures, as matters of what will come back into your pockets, is up to discussion between you and us. We can have a gentleman's agreement anytime.
So ladies and gentlemen, as we finish up, from the cases that we've just seen, over 100 people have died. Those are just the documented numbers. What about those which have never been documented? What about those who have lost their sight? What about those who are having sleepless nights? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a real problem. And we are not trying to solve this problem by just putting a device in the gadget. We are trying to prevent you being served by small doses of this gas, which will compile in your body day by day. So ladies and gentlemen, that's it for us.
So welcome to the future.
Thank you so much. I think you can detect the passion, the desire to really go into all the details on this. You will bear with them. They've been working on this for months. Let us take a question from each of you, Simbas, if we may, and one question from the audience, and then we can evaluate and close this session. Is that okay? All right, we start with Anthony Paul. Is that all right?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Your detectors, are they off the shelf? Are they commercially available? Is something you make?
They're not off the shelf as per now, but we have 3 prototypes which are already working. Yeah.
You put detectors and it detects H2S in the atmosphere.
Yeah, it detects hydrogen sulfide in the atmosphere. Yes.
And do you see a wearable version as part of your models?
Pardon?
A wearable model that you wear.
Sure. We are talking of production of smaller gadgets, same as your mobile phone, and we are looking at a production of mobile gadgets which are going to be smaller, that you can have in your pocket, and as time continues, you might have even smaller ones that can act like an attachment to the phone at the back of the cover with time. Because, ladies and gentlemen, one thing that is very true is that technology advances, and we shall also advance.
And as I just said, they are customizable. So for those that will be installed on the rigs are the ones which will be a bit large.
Okay. Professor?
I was showing him my wearable.
Yes.
What is your value proposition?
Sorry?
Your value proposition. What distinguishes you from everybody else?
Now let me answer that, since I'm dealing with the technical part. So this gadget has 3 modules of detection. The ones that are in the market have only one method of detection. Then our gadget gives you 3 alarms. The first one is a precautionary measure. It comes in when it reaches that point when the hydrogen sulfide gas has started being produced. So you're not exposed to that gas till it reaches a danger point, then you're told to come out of your working place. Then having the 3 modules of detection, it means that when one goes down, you still have another one. And in this case, we are using the reversible reaction method. The electromagnetic sensor might go down anytime, but for the reversible reaction, it's something which will always work. And also we're infusing the GSM module, whereby all calls will be triggered to the safety officer in that company. So whether you're in a place where you're remote, too much sound, you are still able to get that.
How common are these leaks?
Sorry?
How common are these leaks of poisonous gases?
This is something which happens every day. So whatever happens is that when the temperatures within the cores of the earth increase, the gas is produced more. But when you go to a place like Olkaria,
it could happen at any time. The biggest risk is when it does happen, you will be incapacitated if there is no alarm to warn you that it has happened, and therefore you will probably go unconscious, and if there is no immediate supply of fresh oxygen, then you're gone.
To add on that, if you may, allow me please. If you look at the companies that we have, mostly that deal with mining, people go underground. And if you look at hydrogen sulfide, it is denser than air, ladies and gentlemen. So it tends to be a little bit lower. So those who move underground, if you are down there and it actually leaks, you will be more exposed to it. So if you don't have somebody who is going to be on the alert, maybe all of you are down there and somebody is up there, you won't be having that time to shout, because part of the effects of this gas is, at times, if not acted upon, it causes brain damage, dyslexia, heart attacks, nasal problems, and so many problems that lead to death.
Honorable Majana, question please.
I think you have a target market to sell this equipment to humans who have spontaneous omissions that can render some of us, especially after dinner. That's on a lighter note. Do you have a software that's attached to the gadget that would then be able to provide reports over a certain period of time? Because I see you're very particular with complying to certain standards.
Yes.
So, which is very impressive. So, would you have some software that would do the
So,
reporting?
apart from the device, we're also working on a software which every morning before the gadgets are released, it will be doing a diagnosis on the machine. In case of any fault, the machine cannot be used.
And according to the standards that we had talked about, In the standards that were released in 2010, the demand that these devices that are normally installed should have a database of the input data that they have collected over a period of time. That is a fact that we are going to factor in the device that we are producing.
Okay.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
As I understand it, there are 3 parts to this: the detector, the processor, and the transmitting device. You can change that transmitter to measure flow rates, measure levels of liquids in tanks of storage. You can also transmit that real time to the GSM or have a storage component that transmits from time to time. Look up a company called Smart Pumper. There's a company in Trinidad that does that. And I call it just a poor man's SCADA. You can monitor your operations in the field and send it to you. And they do something similar. I'm not sure if you do H2S, but have a look at those for some ideas of what you might do with it.
Okay, Smart Pumper.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. We'll take a couple of questions just to close. Great, there's a lady there with a question. Please assist her with a microphone.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for the presentation. But as an investor, for instance, if I'm going to put money into a company, I'd like to understand really how you've quantified the opportunities. I've understood that you've broken down the units you're going to produce per year, but what is the size of the opportunity that will guarantee me business for the next 10 years? That is one. Then finally, I want to understand when these gases are being detected, then how does your gadget, or what is the full circle of user experience to help the people who are underground? You know, after alerting the person who's at the top of the ground or the emergency contact, what next? Or unless you leave it up to them to actually come and salvage the situation, I don't know.
Thank you for the question. The device, as we have said, has 3 beeps. It works on 3 alarms. The available devices give you a single alarm, but our device, we have infused it with 3 alarms. One will come, they all have different colors, say green, red, and yellow. And all these alarms will give a beep when the detection process begins. It gives the first beep, and then a second beep when the levels are even increasing. And the third beep will be a continuous beep, and a phone call will be initiated then also. So the phone call is a third measure, is a fourth measure to it, but then we already have 3 beeps that are existing. And on the sales, on the existence bit for the next 10 years, trust me, the geothermal industry is not going to close in the next 1 year, because we are looking at power production and people are going to need this. And we also look at trips into the market and the communities around. We can also equip them with these devices to also, because their lives also matter, not only the people who work within the company, because the company is within a society. The society members can also have these devices too. Thank you.
And just to drive it home, I think she wants to know the market size. So how many shillings are we talking about? How many units? Is that right? What is that opportunity in money?
Like for example, the last time we went on the ground to Olkaria, we had one of the engineers of the ground. They are building a new well. This well has a lifespan of around 50 years before it is completely depleted. Per that well, they will need 500 devices, because we have the personnel, including engineers, then we also have the casual workers. So it's something which is marketable.
Okay. All right, thank you. I think we will close there for the sake of time. And I would like us to give a warm round of applause to Alvin and Desmond. Thank you so much, gentlemen. They put in massive amounts of time and effort to push and pull this together for today. I will give a moment to the Simbas to finalize the evaluation, and if they've done so, I'll see them nodding. It's okay, Professor? Yes?
Are we supposed to total? What are we supposed to
The total will be done for you. If you've done the mark on each
Yeah.
document, then my colleague Alfred is coming to collect it from you to do the tallying or the total. So Alfred will pick that from you, Now, before you leave, there's a couple of things that we would like to do while you're still sat there. The first is I would like us to give a Kenyan round of applause to our cymbals, and I think you all know how that is done, isn't it? So maybe if we could warm up a little bit, warm up, okay? Asanteni sana. Karibu. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to our cymbals. We appreciate what you've done. Thank you for that. Now, before you go, there's something else that will be done by Dr. Melba. So please hold on there just one moment. Dr. Melba will be coming here to just do one act, and then we proceed. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, can we just agree we have talent?
Yeah.
Can we have that general agreement?
Yes.
Has this met your expectations or exceeded? Oh, that is fantastic. So can we stop that rhetoric that we have no talent to offer in Africa? We start somewhere. And then only so far one person has gotten clients. I'm looking for my other two. So we can be seen to be legitimate. Part of why we had Diane Simpson here, it was not for free. It was because she can offer money for a prototype to one of these ones, and also she has many minds in Australia. But in the meantime, allow me and join me in singing Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Majala, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Deputy Governor. It means absolutely everything to us that on your birthday you're working with us. Who says government doesn't work? Government is working, you guys. She's been with us the entire day at our conference on petroleum and local content, and now she's here. Before that candle burns out, kindly blow from there. Okay, it's not a blowing, that's fine, I don't know how it's going to come up, but anyway. Thank you. On behalf of Strathmore University, on behalf of Keep Here, and everybody here, we wish you many happy returns. Asante sana.
Thank you very much. I consider the mining fraternity my family, because we've been together, most of you in here for quite a number of years, 6 years, some of you longer than that. So for me, it's an honor to be able to celebrate a life milestone with yourselves, and to also welcome you to a piece of cake, which is why you're not having dessert today. So thank you for the song, and enjoy the cake.
Well, she certainly looks it. So ladies and gentlemen, as she's cutting up the cake, there's also dessert there. No, dessert is officially open. I will not penalize you. And they're quickly tallying up the marks, and then we will come back and we will have a presentation of who has won based on the tally. You see, we are transparent. Everything so far has been transparent. So I'd ask you kindly, please serve some dessert, and then we will resume in the next 5 minutes once again.